morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Kim. Today is Monday, November 2nd, 2020, and we begin with the United States in the home stretch. Tomorrow is Election Day, and that means the candidates have just 24 hours to persuade undecided voters to swing their way. Today, President Trump will rally support in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Michigan, while Democratic challenger Joe Biden is focusing all his energy in one place, Pennsylvania. How much these last-minute rallies matter remains to be seen. A record number of Americans have already made up their mind and cast their ballots. Early vote totals are now closing in on 100 million, which is more than two-thirds of all ballots cast in 2016. Among those celebrating the process, Ant-Man's Paul Rudd, who braved a driving rainstorm in Brooklyn, New York to reward voters with a cookie and a selfie for performing their civic duty. It's worthy of a celestial celebration. As of today, the high-flying International Space Station has been an occupied orbiting outpost for 20 years. News from the astronauts living there is now so common we sometimes forget that it's one of the most expensive and technologically advanced objects ever built. The floating laboratory cost $150 billion, is as long as a football field, and zips 200 miles above Earth at 17,000 miles an hour. Right now, there are 2 Russians and an American on board, which is the same makeup as the very first crew back in 2000. In all, 241 women and men from 19 countries have temporarily called the space station home, some for nearly a full year at a time. A surprising, delayed admission from the future King of England. Prince William now confirms he caught the virus back in April, just days after his dad, Prince Charles, did. William says he struggled to breathe, but was able to get treated at home where he quarantined. He didn't share the news because he didn't want the public to worry. Why now? Maybe because his Prime Minister Boris Johnson is again locking down the UK to get a handle on a second wave of infections. It starts Thursday and will last a month. France and Germany recently made similar moves, and now comes word that one of the few places on the planet that has stayed virus-free no longer is. The Marshall Islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean reported 2 cases, both of which were brought in by U.S. government employees who flew in from Hawaii. Aunt Becky is now behind bars. Full House actress Lori Loughlin reported to the women's facility in Dublin, California on Friday to begin serving a 2-month sentence for trying to cheat her daughter's way into USC. She's also been ordered to pay a fine of $150,000 and complete 100 hours of community service after her release. Loughlin and her husband are among 57 people charged in the college cheating scandal that rocked the college admissions process and shook public trust in the system. There's no denying that Florida grows 'em big. In the Panhandle, resident Corey Capps just caught a gator in the river behind his home that was more than 13 feet long and tipped the scales at 1,000 pounds. According to Mr. Capps, the giant reptile had been side-eyeing him for 3 years, and he knew one of them had to go, and it wasn't going to be him. And to the southeast part of the state, where the check engine light on a Ford Mustang proved to be a bit of an understatement. When mechanics popped the hood, they found a 10-foot Burmese python that had snaked its way into the engine compartment. Fish and Game removed it and will reportedly use it for education and outreach. Pythons aren't native to Florida and are highly damaging to native wildlife. A reminder to our loyal listeners, KidNuz runs on your support. If you've already made a donation, thank you. If you've been thinking about it, please visit our website at www.kidnuz.org. Your contributions are tax-deductible through our fiscal sponsor, Independent Arts and Media. Now, our KidNuz quiz. When is Election Day? Tomorrow, November 3rd. How many years have humans continuously occupied the International Space Station? 20 as of today. What country is headed back into lockdown this week? England starting Thursday. How big was the python found under the hood of a Ford Mustang in Florida? 10 feet long. In One for the Road, imagine running a boring errand only to come home and find a handwritten note from your favorite rocker. It's one superfan's tale to tell after the car of former One Direction frontman Harry Styles broke down in front of her house. 13-year-old Theodora wasn't there, but an adult family friend was and invited him in for tea while he awaited a tow. Harry did what he could, signed one of his albums, penned a note saying he was devastated that they missed each other and that he's looking forward to meeting soon. Styles then signed off with a P.S. I fed the fish, and as proof left her a photo of him doing just that. Before we go, we celebrate our fabulous teachers, Mrs. Hausdorff and her students at Canton Elementary in Canton, Missouri, and to Hillside Avenue School in Cranford, New Jersey, where we shout out Miss Serchio, Principal Deacon, and Assistant Principal Santa. And we send birthday wishes to Chevy in Brandon, Manitoba, Canada, Annie in Mount Prospect, Illinois, Natalie in Wasilla, Alaska, Cohen in Mesa, Arizona, to California for Jackson in Mill Valley, Teo in Walnut Creek, Mayank in San Ramon, Marin in South San Francisco, and Kayo in Redwood City, Charlie in Vancouver, Washington, Finley in Temple, Texas, to Florida for Manielik in Claremont and Ruthie in Clearwater, Kingston in Baltimore, Maryland, to Oregon for Parker in Turner and Carson in Grants Pass, Eli in Duxbury, Massachusetts, and Nora in Smithfield, Kentucky. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you back here for more Kid News tomorrow morning.